What up, y'all? It's your boy Shake, back with another video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe, like, and comment. I'm gonna take a quick stroll down memory lane, and I want you guys to join me. Many moons ago, when I was a kid, I'd harass my dad to take me to the local arcade. He'd eventually give in, hand me a $20 bill, and before he could turn around, I had already converted it all into quarters. I'd spend hours dumping those quarters into machine after machine. Back then, arcades were special because the graphics were significantly better than anything we played on Nintendo or Sega Genesis. But as home consoles got stronger, we started getting arcade-perfect ports, subsequently killing certain game genres, including my personal favorite, the beat 'em up. To me, beat 'em ups were the biggest casualty of the hardware arms race. But with the recent release of Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragon, and the announcement of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge DLC, we are fully in the midst of a beat 'em ups renaissance. There was a time in the not so distant past, I remember praying that Capcom and Konami would release compilations of their arcade classics on modern consoles because I didn't want to go the emulation route. And while I like the arcade one-up cabinets, I just don't have the space to accommodate them. Thankfully, some of those prayers have been answered. But not in my wildest dreams did I imagine we'd be living in this 616 timeline where there's not only access to the classics, but companies like WayForward would deliver us River City Girls in 2019. A year later, Emu gave us Streets of Rage 4, and it was unique, specifically in that it felt like the tipping point for the genre's resurgence. For those unfamiliar, the tipping point is an idea and term popularized by author Malcolm Gladwell in his book of the same title. I'll spare you the finer details, but here's the TLDR. The book explains how multiple social factors have to occur at the same time to create an epidemic and make something popular. In this case, it's the renewed popularity of beat 'em ups. I think the combination of River City Girls' positive reception, nostalgia, and the brand recognition of Sega and the Streets of Rage franchise was the perfect storm to help resurrect the genre. Then, in summer of 2021, the unimaginable happened. A trailer dropped for a TMNT beat 'em up with gorgeous pixel art, and it was being published by the same team that worked on Streets of Rage 4. I could not believe what I was seeing. The most impressive part about this trifecta of releases has been the subtle improvements each game has contributed to the genre. River City Girls had light RPG elements where you could upgrade your character and moveset, which incentivized multiple playthroughs. Streets of Rage 4 added online play, 4-player couch co-op, and an addictive combo system that kept me pushing for a flawless combo string on a single stage. For the record, I failed horribly. Then, Shredder's Revenge raised the stakes by adding 6-player online co-op, gorgeous animation, and tapped into all of our collective childhood nostalgia from the 80s cartoon and toy line. Now, Double Dragon has added a tag mechanic similar to what we've grown accustomed to in Marvel vs. Capcom and Anime Fighters. For a genre that seemed dead by modern gaming conventions, the teams behind these games definitely found innovative ways to inject new life into the genre. It's pretty remarkable when you consider they were originally designed to steal our quarters. So you might be asking, what's my beef? Back in the days, we had 4 major developers in the arcade beat 'em ups ring. Technos were pioneers with the Kunio-kun and later Double Dragon series. Sega gave us Golden Axe and Streets of Rage. Konami gave us licensed greatness in the Simpsons arcade game, X-Men, and of course the Ninja Turtles games. which leaves one company conspicuously missing, and that's Capcom. When Final Fight originally hit arcades, it was a game changer. The sprites weren't just big, they were massive. The graphics alone was legitimately a draw. The fact that Mike Haggar could perform a pile driver and 2 button presses was mind-blowing to my younger self. The instant you made it to the second stage and saw the train pulling into the subway station while beating up baddies, you knew this was a different kind of game. It might not seem like much today, but honestly, there hadn't been that level of realism in any game before it. Final Fight felt like Double Dragon on steroids. We'd eventually get 2 mid-sequels on Super Nintendo, but now seems like the perfect time to revisit the franchise. And considering that Final Fight shares a universe with Street Fighter only helps my case. And let's not forget, Capcom already took a step to revitalize the beat-em-up genre in 2003 when they published the gem of a game in Beautiful Joe. Beat-em-ups were already extinct by then, so it was a pleasant surprise to find a 2D action game that was, at its core, a beat-em-up with some razzle-dazzle. Henshin a go-go, baby! I'll save the Beautiful Joe convo for another video. As for right now, the climate seems perfect. So Capcom, where the hell is my Final Fight 4?